Hello, my name is Apollinaria. I am a professional spiritual guide and facilitator. I've got 15 plus years of experience doing inner work, and today I want to talk to you about shadow work. So many people use the term shadow work, not that many people like fully actually understand what it is. So today I want to go into like a very proper, thorough, foundational description and introduction to shadow work. So let's do it. So shadow work takes its name from a brilliant psychoanalyst called Carl Jung. He called the parts of ourselves, the parts of our psyche that we are unaware of, that we repress, that we are ashamed of, that we refuse to acknowledge or own. All of these aspects are referred to within Jungian terms as the shadow, right? Because this is the aspect of our psyche that is not lit up by our conscious awareness, right? The shadow is not inherently good. It is not inherently bad. It is simply the parts of our psyche that are not integrated. And sometimes that is going to be because, we find those traits or aspects of ourselves undesirable or like really difficult to swallow or own and accept. Or it can also just be like untapped potential that we actually would want to activate and actualize and integrate in ourselves, but we're like blocked from doing so for one reason or another. The thing though about the shadow is that it wants you to be aware of it. Like it actively wants your awareness to meet it and to integrate it. So it projects itself outside of yourself, and you see your shadow outside of yourself until you do integrate it. And I'll go into projection and how it works with the shadow a little bit later, but I do want to start this introduction by framing the discussion of shadow work in two aspects, right? The dark shadow and the light shadow. So the undesirable aspects, unconscious aspects of your psyche, and the desirable unconscious aspects of your psyche. So dark shadow work is usually what people are talking about when they are talking about shadow work. The dark shadow is the parts of you that you can't accept, that you just find too gross or shameful or awful or disgusting or whatever it is, just unacceptable in some way. Like maybe there's some part of you that's really greedy, or maybe there's some part of you that's like really mean, or maybe there's some part of you that like I think some awful crazy stuff that like you just don't identify with, that you couldn't identify with. Maybe there's some part of you that is violent in some way, or just like awful in some way. Dark shadow generally will project itself outside of you as like things and people that you just like you hate and you can't stand, because it is playing out that relationship between those two parts within yourself, right? So inside of you, you have a part that's like, say, mean, whatever, like you have this dark shadow part, right? You also have a part inside of you that cannot stand that part that's like mean, that thinks it's disgusting, right? However, because there's just such a negativity and they can't touch, you will never be able to like see it and acknowledge it inside yourself. So like the projection externalizes that relationship outside of you, right? So you keep seeing over and over again these like these like what did I say, mean? Sure, these like mean people. And like you just keep being triggered by these mean people, and you keep being like, God, like why are people so mean? Like what is this terrible, like I can't stand that person, there's like right? Whatever. You're caught in this circuit of continuously running into these people that are an extension of, that are a projection of your own self, and like depending on how demanding this shadow part of you is, of you like meeting it and recognizing it, you're gonna get stuck in tighter and tighter and tighter and more insistent loops of just running into this quality or this person or whatever over and over and over and over again, until you can finally just look at that part within yourself, forgive it, and resolve that energy within yourself, resolve that like energetic tear within yourself. The thing about that process, though, is that it does require unconditional love for yourself, you know? And cultivating unconditional love isn't something that just happens, at least not in this world. For the most part, I have found unconditional love to be an active practice that you do have to practice and commit to. And this is the single greatest resource that I have found for cultivating unconditional self-love. It is a book called The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion. I'll link it down below as well. It is the master key to unconditional self-love. Like, if you read it and you do the practices, I mean, at least for me and people that I know, reading it and doing the practices like almost like buries this seed of unconditional self-love that gradually just subsumes your entire awareness and being, and creates unconditional love for yourself as like a new baseline of your being. So highly recommend that book. It is like the unconditional self-love that you cultivate is itself the master key that you need also in order to do like shadow work well, easily, whatever, because you will never be able to look and see and recognize a part of yourself that you just do not accept. Like you or at the very least, you will have the hardest, most challenging, roughest time imaginable actually like looking and acknowledging and coming to terms with that part of yourself. Like, if you cannot offer this like undesirable aspect of yourself, unconditional compassion and forgiveness and love and understanding, you're either going to like never look at it and like honestly probably cause a huge mess in your life, like avoiding looking at it, or you're just gonna like beat yourself up and punish yourself for it in some way, you know? Even if it's like in the name of resolving or like fixing this aspect of yourself. Because like the point of shadow work isn't fixing yourself. There's nothing to fix. The point of shadow work is healing yourself. Because like the way to fully complete this circuit, right? This like part of you that won't accept you and this part of you that's unaccepted and is projecting itself outside of you, the way to finally like resolve this like unresolved tension within yourself is by offering that like gross little part of yourself the love that it actually needs to change, you know? Like that part of you, I promise you, no matter how awful and ugly and vile and whatever it is in your eyes, or no matter how challenging or tough or like heavy the energy of it is, all that part needs, all that version of you, that part of your psyche needs, is love, is support, is some kind of healing and compassion. And then it will like disappear. Not disappear, but so there's this term in alchemy called transmutation. It's where one energy turns from one material to another material, into a different material, right? That's like the philosopher's stone, turning lead into gold. If you like really love the parts of yourself that you just cannot stand and like just like work with them and heal them, they will turn into beautiful, well-integrated, well-adjusted qualities in yourself. Like, it's like, there's nothing to fix. Like, there's just healing and becoming more of yourself. That's all it is, you know? And developing unconditional love for yourself, or practicing unconditional love for yourself, is an absolutely fundamental quality to getting out of like the projection phase and completing the circuit, you know, just like resolving this this unresolved loop that keeps like externalizing outside of yourself. So, you know, any kind of like awful quality that you just are so stuck on in the people outside of you, or some kind of awful quality that you're so stuck on within yourself. Maybe even that awful quality is the part of yourself that like punishes and hates the unwanted qualities in yourself. Maybe there's a voice in you that's like so mean to you that like every quality in you that it like is having a hard time accepting, like it's not accepting because it's actually like hypercritical and like even in some ways like psychologically violent to you, right? That's also part of you that just needs, it needs strength, but it also just needs love and compassion and like healing and like some work, you know what I mean? But it also needs like forgiveness. That's how it goes. This entire disgusting, awful mess that most of us are born with or like raised with and like move through this world with, all it needs is some love and care and tenderness and kindness. So shadow work, working with your dark shadow, is functionally the process of noticing the projections, noticing where the parts of yourself that you're unconscious of are like showing themselves to you or trying to be seen or heard or understood by you, right, through projection. And learning to love and heal those parts. And healing can look many different ways, you know, like healing can literally just be offering yourself tenderness and compassion and love and being like, damn, why are you doing that, you know, and like having a chat with yourself about what's going on there and like you don't need to do that anymore, that kind of stuff. Like, oh, there's no need for this anymore, I can change my behavior here, right? Just like a grounded little chat with yourself. It can also go into like more specialized work like hypnosis or internal family systems, or talk therapy, or medicines, like all sorts of fun psychedelic medicines if they are legal where you are. Yeah, but the point is to notice the projection, to learn to give yourself unconditional love, and then to allow the healing to begin. That is shadow work. That is dark shadow work. All right. With dark shadow work out of the way, let's move on to light shadow work. Light shadow work is basically just like your unintegrated potential, or like more favorable, positive, likable qualities, right? Generally, that's projected outside of yourself in people that you like really, really admire, or like even worship, or stan over, or whatever. People that you like are really, really into, that you just like resonate with really hard, and like you just really like this person in some way. Any person like that, anything that comes up for you when I say that, think about the qualities. Think about why it is that you feel so attracted to that person, why you admire that person so much. And consider that these qualities might either be ones that you have right now that want to be recognized by you, or they're qualities that want to be developed and emerge in you, that you have as like raw, very accessible potential within you, right? So considering that and like looking at the light shadow in that way, generally there are two versions of like work that come up with light shadow work. The first is working with whatever is blocking you from integrating that light shadow, right? So say that you really admire someone, and me asking you like, what if that was you, or a quality that you had? If something immediately came up in you that was like, oh, that couldn't be me, like that's just too blank, or I'm just too blank, or not enough blank, or whatever it is. Like, oh, that can't be me, that's just like too out of reach. Whatever part of you thinks that, whatever part of you is like keeping you small for some reason, that's work for you to do. You know, that's actually shadow work for you to do, which is dark shadow work, that is. So it's fun. Dark shadow work and light shadow work kind of become like a positive feedback loop once you like really get into the swing of it. But healing that part of yourself that's keeping yourself small or whatever it's doing to like block you from actualizing that part of yourself, healing that part is going to be the work in front of you. It's probably, you know, something that you picked up from either a traumatizing event or childhood or something, where keeping yourself small was like a actual necessary thing that you had to do for whatever reason. And now it's just time to heal that part of you and to like update the system and the software and like grow from that, right? And again, like dark shadow work, healing that part of yourself could be anything, could range from something as simple as just like having a talk with yourself or journaling or whatever, and like recognizing that you actually don't need to do that anymore. Like really, it's actually not serving you anymore. I mean, it can range for something as simple as that to like full on therapeutic or inner work or psychedelic work or whatever it is. Like you might have to like go in and really like root around in there to resolve whatever is needed by that part for it to like feel like safe and content enough to let go. Or to give yourself the conditions that would allow for that part to relax, such as like whatever support it is that it might need, or sense of safety or well-being that it might need, whatever, right? There are many ways of like actually healing this part. But that's like the dark shadow work, that's the inner work aspect, that of like addressing whatever blocks might come up for integrating your light shadow. Another version of light shadow work is building self-respect, is cultivating self-worth. Because, you know, it's very common for some part of you or some version of you to want to come online and for you to just like inherently not have enough of a sense of like self-worth to claim it or to own it. And so it continues to project outside of yourself, yearning for the embrace of your own awareness and being and consciousness. But cultivating self-worth is, much like anything else, a practice. You can start by, you know, recognizing the things about you that you like. And if you don't think that there's anything to like about yourself, you need this practice more than anyone, because I promise you, there's so much to like about you. Every single person has something to like about them. I promise you. Fucking start journaling, start writing about all the things that are likable about you. Build on that list, build on that journal a little bit more every day, whatever. Just start rerouting your awareness to really anchor in and register the likable, wonderful, lovely things about yourself. Right? So building your own sense of like your own likability or whatever, your own worth. Another way of doing this is cultivating self-respect. That is like a really, 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 really strong, meaty part of cultivating your own self-worth. You cultivate self-respect by being a person that you respect, by doing things that you respect, and by doing those things over a very sustained period of time, you know, just like being a person that you respect over years only like builds and deepens your own respect for yourself, right? If that's kind of hard to hear, and if you look at yourself and you're like, I'm not a person I respect, cool, great, that's fine. Start. Then that just means it's an opportunity for you to start acting like a person that you respect. Today, right now, it's the perfect time to start. Seriously. Just move a little bit closer to a person that you respect every day. And that would be the other kind of like half of light shadow work, you know? So there's moving through blocks, and then there's cultivating self-worth. These are usually the two things, the two categories of light shadow work that allows you to integrate whatever light shadow is wanting to be actualized within you and your awareness. In this video, I did end up mentioning like several times with dark shadow work, the healing that you need to do, and like, you know, the truly like infinite, like the incredible range of healing modalities that would serve you in your shadow work is pretty intense. And like I hit, like in my videos, I generally like try to sprinkle like resources in here and there and like examples here and there of it. And you know, down the line I'll probably offer some like personal like handcrafted resources for that kind of inner healing work as well. That's just not really in the scope of like this video and this like foundational introduction to what shadow work is, but I just don't want to leave you like hanging on that entirely. What I can give you is at least a book called Self-Therapy. That is a book on internal family systems. Basically, all of us have like different like within ourselves, there is like a family, an internal family system, if you will, of many different personalities, and they all interact with one another, right? As I was alluding to with how projection works. This book is a great resource for like doing things that actually, like practices and exercises that actually are shadow work themselves. Also, like really just building this perspective, developing this perspective of your inner world and your psyche and the different parts and how they all interact with each other is so, I would argue, vitally important to any inner work, that it's a really, really profound resource. Whether you do specifically internal family system exercises or other types of shadow work, I would say this is like one of, if not the like best fundamental resource to at least like get started with and build the type of relationship with your own inner world, which would allow for like the deepest and most effective and most easeful healing and shadow work. So, or dark shadow work. So yeah, I'll link that below as well. But yeah, besides that, this is like a basic introduction to shadow work, right? Again, people throw this term around so much, not many people actually like understand it so much. So hopefully this is like a good, solid, foundational introduction. My experience with shadow work is that it is never ending. Much like manifestation, it's less of like a process and much more of a lifestyle, right? And like an alignment and a way of engaging with the world and with your own inner world. So with enough experience and ease and like muscle built in the terrain, in the realm of shadow work, it becomes what I refer to as shadow play, which is just this never-ending dance of discovering and integrating your unconscious aspects. It's this like never-ending union of your conscious and your unconscious aspects, of your known and unknown aspects of your psyche. And it is an ever becoming and a state of ever unfolding into this world and into your conscious self, and it's really beautiful. So if you are doing this work, thank you. Thank you for becoming ever more of yourself all the time, and I'm loving it for you. I love that you're doing it. I always get like way too like mushy about stuff like this, but it makes my heart so happy. If you are doing this work and you are becoming more of yourself, for fear of sounding like too much or whatever, that's a really beautiful thing to do. And like becoming more of your authentic self is just allowing the world to love even more of you, and allowing you to love even more of you, and just allowing more love to exist in this world. So thank you for doing that, if you are doing that. And hopefully this introduction was a helpful one for you and for your practice and for your path. If the video did resonate with you, do feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of the wonderful things. And I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.